Today's shirt is brought to you by Garfield, America's favorite fat cat.
Do I really have to go through all this? I mean, we all know who won E3. Alright. I'm Dave from UltraMegaDeathRay.com, here to give my assessment of the E3 conferences by both Microsoft and Sony. I was originally going to just break this up into two separate videos, one for Microsoft and one for Sony. But just with everything that's happened and how both conferences seem to correlate with each other so much, I figured it's best just to try to condense it as much as possible and just make it one video. So I was watching the Microsoft press conference on GameTrailers.com since the Xbox.com stream was sucking ass. And because of that, like, they had a special reveal, I guess, from someone at Rare to show off an entry in a beloved franchise. I was hoping it would be something from like one of their older IPs, like Battletoads or something like that. Of course, it ended up being Kinect Sports Rivals, which is kind of funny to me considering that there was like a tweet reply from Rare that I got after reporting on a Killer Instinct rumor. And so I jokingly barred back with them about, oh, I can't wait for that Kinect Sports 3. So at the very least, they did show Killer Instinct 3 at the conference itself, which is pretty exciting. Until I heard it's going to be a free-to-play game. So what this means is that instead of being a full disc-based retail release they get at the store, it's going to be a downloadable title where you have to pay for each character that you want to use, essentially. They're going to include Jago for free, and every other character after that you have to pay for separately. The only hint is that it's going to be a single-digit price, so my guess is it's going to be $5 per character, which could potentially be a good way around having to pay full price for a game, especially if you're just concentrating on a few characters, but it just feels like you're getting an incomplete game, you know? So moving on from that, there was the very beginning of the conference where they showed off gameplay footage for Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Now, I'm not much of a Metal Gear fan, personally. I love stealth games and everything, but I just never really could get into the Metal Gear franchise for whatever reason. I think it's just because the story just seems overly convoluted to me. But this looked freaking awesome. Just the gameplay and everything. I thought I was watching Red Dead Redemption 2 at first, you know, with the guy and the horse and everything. And yeah, it just looked really, really amazing. It just takes that Metal Gear Solid universe, but in an open world game, which you're gonna notice as you see the games that are being shown throughout E3, at least for the next gen consoles. Open world theme seems to be a common thing for a lot of these future games. Just to address the choice of going with Kiefer Sutherland instead of David Hayter, I think it was a good choice, honestly, simply because there's going to be the implementation of having facial animations. So, you have Kiefer Sutherland with the little dots on his face, and they're tracking his movements that way. Just being a cinematic game and all, it makes sense with the technology we have now. And, it's good to have, an actual actor doing that sort of thing. And I don't think his voice sounds all too different from what we can expect how Snake would sound like, or Big Boss, or whoever it is you're playing as in Phantom Pain. I believe it's Big Boss. And yeah, I think it's a good choice, and I don't really have any problem with it. Then again, I'm not a huge Metal Gear fan, as I said, so, I'm sure, the fanboys might be up in arms about it, but I don't think it's a bad choice at all, to be honest. I just gotta get my kudos out of the way to Microsoft for finally adding value to Xbox Live Gold. After announcing that there's going to be a slimmer Xbox 360 model that looks a lot like the Xbox One console design, they announced that there's going to be free games available each month, 2 to be exact. So they're kind of taking a page out of Sony's book with PlayStation Plus. And this is actually going to be starting next month, starting on July 1st to be exact. So that's going to be Assassin's Creed 2 as well as Halo 3. So that's good news. It only took them 7 years to get a program like that out. Microsoft then showed off their first Xbox One exclusive, which was Rise, Son of Rome, which, if you'll recall from an earlier trailer that was shown off, was a Kinect title. It actually showed a guy swinging a sword around at dudes on screen. And I guess now they just changed it into kind of a regular old game, just a regular action game, basically. It looks very pretty, very gorgeous looking game and all. which is a theme. This is going to be a theme for most of these titles. Like, it looks very, very pretty. With Rise, though, specifically, it just seems so QTE heavy. Like, quick time events are just left and right. Every time you go into a horde of enemies, it's like, press X to stab this dude, press B to bash that guy's skull in with your shield. I mean, the gameplay just looks so boring. Like, it just seems like it's almost trying to be like God of War, but without any interesting characters or mythology like behind it at all, and just threw in a whole bunch of QTEs in it, and it just takes people right out of the game. The next exclusive that was showed off actually impressed me quite a bit. This was Sunset Overdrive by Insomniac Games. What really impressed me about this was the fact that it seemed like it was the love child between Borderlands with its crazy shooting elements and Mirror's Edge with all the parkour action. I mean, it even seemed like certain parts of the stages are going to be highlighted in red, much like in Mirror's Edge. There's even quite a little bit of Bioshock Infinite in there, as you can see people using what I believe are crowbars in order to swing around on rails and shooting at the same time. So, I mean, like, it looks very impressive. I like the wacky aesthetic behind it. It almost seems like a little bit of Scott Pilgrim-ish kind of stuff. It might have been just when the girl's throwing the can of what looked like soda, but it's actually ammo, and it said some words. I forget what the words say exactly, but it just totally reminded me of Scott Pilgrim there. So going back to Killer Instinct, there was actually some gameplay showed where they had some guy and some girl playing against each other, and there was kind of a bit of awkward trash talking going on. It was all scripted and everything. And I guess there was a bit of controversy going about some rape joke because I remember specifically because of the line, "Don't worry, it'll be over soon" or something like that. And I don't know. It just seems a little too far-fetched, for people. I'm not gonna say feminists specifically, but just people just kind of far-reaching a little bit. As far as I'm concerned, it was just an unfortunate set of words put together that I don't think, whoever made up the skit just didn't really think that through, especially with a guy versus a girl. It just seemed like normal trash talking to me. At least it would be if it was a guy versus a guy, or hell, even a girl versus a girl. Just as my girlfriend says, like, if it was two girls playing a fighting game, they said that I wouldn't care. I wouldn't bat an eye. So I don't know. It's just an unfortunate circumstance, I guess, and I guess people were on Twitter, going crazy about it. But, I mean, as my pal Archer would say.
Phrasing?
Next, what was shown was the Twitch integration, which basically allows you to record your own gameplay as well as adding in your own commentary, essentially making your own Let's Play videos right from the Xbox One. It looked really cool, looked really easy to use, and it's just something that in this day and age is something that all modern consoles need to make use of, especially just with the popularity of that type of video. The next exclusive shown was Dead Rising 3, which got me really excited. I've always been more of a fan of the concept as opposed to the execution for the Dead Rising series, but Capcom seems to be getting their right foot forward this time by making it more open world. There's that theme again. And also keeping with what worked before, such as Dead Rising 2's crafting of combo weapons. I'm kind of curious, though, if this is going to be more of an isolating experience. By that I mean if there's going to be any sort of element like what we saw in Dead Rising 2, where you always gotta fish out for Zombrex for your daughter. The conference basically ended after that with a trio of shooters shown off, which more or less made me want to fall asleep.
What up, broses? Xbox Fanboy here, telling you to get hyped for Halo 5 Journey and Battlefield 4 Titanic. Who says that games can't be art? Suck it, Ebert!
Microsoft closed up the conference by revealing that the Xbox One will be released this November, along with the price point of $499. Now, I don't know about you, but that seems a little too steep for me. I know, personally, $399 or $400 basically is the absolute max I'll go for any new console. Any new console. You could still feel a lot of hate boiling from Microsoft, such as during like the Battlefield 4 showing. There was some technical difficulties, and people were hooting and hollering from the audience. I think someone yelled out Xbox sucks at one point. I mean, all of this is kind of for good reason too, since you know, like Microsoft has been blocking YouTube comments from their own videos. They've been there's rumors about them having Microsoft employees upvoting positive things about the Xbox One and downvoting negative things about the Xbox One on Reddit. There was the rumor about them paying publishers in order to not reveal the PlayStation 4 versions of their games, or at least not say that that their games are coming out for the PlayStation 4. Just really shady, dirty, underhanded tactics. And Microsoft, you just gotta cut it out. Stop being so goddamn evil. There's got to be some kind of trade-off if you're going to be doing all this DRM 24-hour authentication crap. I mean, have lower-priced games, especially if they're going to be like downloadable for the most part. Also, you know, I mean, like, have like a bunch of like sales going on. Take a page out of Steam's book. Hell, just stop being so goddamn evil. I don't like to bash a company so much, but you're leaving me no choice. Moving on to Sony, there's not really too much to say in terms of games, since a lot of them have been revealed already during the initial reveal. But there was a strong showing of indie developers, which I appreciated quite a bit. One particular studio I was impressed with seeing there was Supergiant Games, who are the same people behind Bastion and are currently working on Transistor. I actually had an interview with Greg Casavan, who is the creative director and lead writer for Transistor, so definitely check that out in the description below. And yeah, I mean, like, just like seeing them there really swayed me as far as, like, you know, wanting to pick up a PS4. It just really goes to show that Sony is doing their best in order to move forward with strengthening these relationships with these great developers, no matter how small or how big they may be. One particular AAA game that got me really excited was Destiny, which is made by Bungie, the guys behind the Halo franchise. Just the gameplay that they showed just blew me away, so far and away than any of the shooters I was shown at Xbox One. I want to say it's because of the easy drop in and drop out multiplayer aspect behind it. Like, it's almost taking a page out of Journey in that sense, where people can just kind of come in and join you along the ride. Like, hey, you want to go over here and shoot some stuff? Okay, and you know, bring along your guns, pick up new guns, showing them off and everything. And yeah, I mean, like, it just seems to have more soul behind it. Like, there's just more, just like something alive about that game that looks totally dead compared to like other shooters, such as that Titanfall game that was showed off during like the Xbox One conference. Goddamn. I mean, like, it's basically just like another shooter where you're going around with like mechs or whatever. You have jetpacks and you can run on billboards or whatever. It still looks like a regular old brown shooter. Yeah, I mean, Destiny just looks like it's just gonna blow the first-person shooter genre away, and I am super excited to play it. The real shining moment of this conference was at the very end, when you had Jack Tretton come out and just completely blow the lid off the place by announcing that Sony will support used games. There's no restrictions on that, and there's no 24-hour checkup, so no DRM or anything like that. Basically everything opposite of the Xbox One is what the PlayStation 4 is going to be about. That is called making a goddamn statement, son. And as if to add insult to injury, there was this video.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
Thanks.
PlayStation.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, the PlayStation 4 is the console for gamers. Simply put, Sony did everything right in terms of conveying that message. I mean, like, you know, they're going to have, like, their entertainment facets as well, like, you know, as far as having, like, you know, Netflix and, you know, other apps, and, you know, they'll have, like, social networking stuff. That's all well and grand. But they're about the games, first and foremost. And that's what we want. These, like, we are the people who are going to be adopting these consoles first. They have to cater to us. Microsoft did a shitty-ass job in terms of trying to reach out to us and then trying to cover it up. they didn't mention anything about any of the rumors, about like anything even remotely fucking up in any sort of way about their message with the Xbox One. Nothing. But Sony came right out and addressed it. Like, it was almost like a fourth wall breaking moment. Like, with them, like, bringing up, like, oh yeah, like, you can play used games on the console. Yay! You can just give your game to, like, someone to play and don't have to worry about, like, you know, having to sign in on your profile or anything like that. Yay! Oh my god. It was an amazing, amazing moment. And, it, you know, just to be personal here, like, it renewed my faith as a gamer, renewed my faith in this industry, because with all the crap that was going on with Microsoft, all the rumors, all the things that were shown to be true, it started making me wonder whether or not I want to still be a gamer. And that's a scary thing, considering that I'm someone who grew up on games my entire life. I first started playing games on the Commodore 64, for God's sakes, until I eventually got my own NES at the age of 5. I've been a gamer ever since. I don't want to give up this hobby. This is like my livelihood, basically. This is who I am. I don't want to give that up because Microsoft decided to take a big freaking dump on its fans. So, thank you, Sony. Thank you so freaking much for renewing my faith in games. This is Dave from UltraMegaDeathRay.com. Catch you guys later.